Hello, welcome to Video Mania 2. I'm the guy manning the counter, Duncan, and today we're going to talk about a Canon Films classic, Cyborg, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, Deborah Richter, and Vincent Klein, and it's directed by Albert Payan. Albert Payan did a lot of 80's movies with some very interesting results. He's quite a director. Anyway, this movie is very interesting how it came to be. Canon Films made another cult classic, Masters of the Universe, in 1987, and the movie didn't do what they wanted it to do. It was based off the Mattel toy line, and it didn't perform like they wanted it to, but they were going to do a sequel, and they had the sets and the costumes built and ready for it. And since they lost the rights to it and they weren't going to make it, they still had all this stuff, and so they decided to make Cyborg. So they had a script ready. Then, another good fortune for Canon Films, Bloodsport became a cultural phenomenon, and Jean-Claude Van Damme became a household name. Now he was a rising star, and Canon Films had him under contract. So this was his second film with them. Now, it takes place in a dystopian future, and a plague has swept across the world, and there is chaos and despair. And there is a clear Mad Max influence here. I mean, you can see it. There's not so much motorcycles or any of that, but just a lot of the despair and the desolation. That's all there. And it is an 80s style for sure. I mean, it's definitely got the mark, and Canon Films made a lot of 80s classics. The musical score is actually quite good. It didn't have a big orchestra, just some synths, but it really fits the story and it works incredibly well. And the characters have some interesting names. Van Damme plays Gibson Rickenbacker, and he is a slinger, what they call, and he's a hired gun, more or less. He doesn't really take sides so much, but he hates Fender, played by Vincent Klein, who's just evil and wants to keep the world chaotic, and he wants to own a cure for the plague. And the story revolves around this cyborg. Her name's Pearl, like the drums, and she gets surgery to become a cyborg, and she goes to New York to get the cure for the plague, and then she has to get back to Atlanta to try to restore civilization, and Van Damme tries to help her, but Fender kidnaps her and captures her, and he wants to go to Atlanta so he can have more control. Now, Van Damme's character is helped by Nadie Simmons, who's played by Deborah Richter, and she's really scrappy and a good addition, a pretty strong character. And the cast is surprisingly good. We learn about Gibson and why he doesn't talk much, and he looks kind of traumatized, and he just doesn't talk anymore, and he has to, and you learn through flashbacks why he hates Fender so much and why he is the way he is. Now, this is a low-budget sci-fi spectacle. It's an 80s classic to me, and I remember renting it, and then I watched it on a local affiliate a couple years later, and it really grew on me. And this Blu-ray is a 2K transfer from the original Interpositive, and of anything I have, this looks the best. Like, I watched it the other night, and I'm like, man, this transfer looks perfect. The sound is great. So, our friends at Shout Factory, who are independent distributor of different classics, and they did an amazing job here. So, if you're a collector, this is a must-own if you like the kind of 80s sci-fi movies that have a special place in modern cinema, too. They're pretty cool. Anyway, that pretty much covers it. I recommend this movie if you're a lover of any kind of 80s, kind of cheese fest, I guess. It's a really good addition. It's worth checking out, and you can see how it influenced some 90s films, and it's more influential than people give it credit for. And it also helped move Van Damme up a little bit more. And Canon Films, it kind of cemented their legacy for their trademark oddities of films that are just amazingly good. They always used a low budget and came up with some real creative stuff. So it's a real salute to them that this came out. And also, if you like videos like this and like older movies or ones you hadn't heard of, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. This channel's starting to grow a little bit, and your support would really help. And have a great weekend, and see you next time.